Good afternoon, everybody. How are you all? Can see you're all over there. Okay, good. Seeing everybody checking in there. Oh, Muriel, welcome. First time. Yay, we have first timers. Hello, hello, hello. A lot of you are joining on, even though the Super Bowl is happening soon, which I don't know if we're going to watch because we may have it on because we are Floridians and Tampa's playing, and we have been to a Tampa game before, so it's kind of fun. That was really neat. I never really like I grew up going my screen is backwards, so I can't tell which way my hair is supposed to go. Okay. Yeah, so since I grew up with college ball, I've seen many games, home games, at the stadium. And the stadium seems so big to me. But when you go to an NFL stadium, it seems so small. Can someone answer that for me? I don't understand it, but it's really, really weird. It's really cool. They shoot off cannons and stuff like that for the Bucks. So I say, I say go both teams. Snowy and cold, Cindy says. It's kind of dreary here today. It's chilly, but it's not, I mean, it's Florida, so I can't say anything. I'm not allowed to talk about cold weather because I live in Florida. Ooh, Bonnie. Hey, happy Mardi Gras. Y'all are so funny. Oh, from Canada. Marge is from Canada. Wow. Canada's beautiful. I went there once and had a great time. It was very lovely. Okay, so welcome. Looks like everybody's chiming in. Christina from Tampa. Girl, what you doing? Um, okay, so welcome to the Beehive. How's everybody doing? I hope you're all doing great. I'm gonna take a sip of my drink, my beverage. I hope everybody's doing great today. We're all just hanging in there. Hey, Betsy, Betsy. I hope everybody's doing great today. It's been a weird week always. I have the weirdest weeks, but it's been a fun week since I last seen you guys. So hopefully you've been sewing and having fun on your machines. That's what I love to do, and I feel like I'm never out of this room unless I'm at work. So and my husband would probably agree. Yeah, so if you're new to the group, welcome to Forever BB Louise Sewing at the Beehive group. Say this every time, this is a great group to learn and share. I think I have the best group. I'm going to throw it out there every time. Everybody's so caring and sharing. So if you have questions or anything like that, just post them up. We'll answer them. If I don't get back to you, somebody gets back to you because I have a great group of people that have the best answers out there. So, yeah. Oh, thanks, Bertie. So yeah, if you need help with anything, let us know. Now, you do need to know that I do work on baby lock machines. So if you have brother machines that are, kind of the same, this will work for you. If you don't worry about it. You still can learn something. We still got tons of information for you. So I do this every Sunday night at 5 p.m. Eastern. And so you can always rewatch at your will. I do keep a list of the classes that I have taught up in the files section. And you can always go look in there. Also under topics, you will be able to find all the videos. So if you go under the word topics, and actually, why don't we do that quickly? Oops, I swear. Why don't we do that real quick, just so I can show everybody how to do that again. Oh, I gotta push this button, don't I? Let's go here. Okay, so we're gonna go to Forever BB Louise. And if you're on a cell phone, you're going to find topics right up in this area here where it says files and all that fun stuff. Oh, someone's calling me. Where it says files and all that fun stuff. But if you're on a computer, you should be able to see popular topics and posts right here. And under topics, you're going to pull up Sunday Night Live. And you can see, and they all should be labeled. They're all labeled numerically all the way from 1 up to, I don't think I moved number 30 over there last week, so I'll do that. Excuse me. Excuse me. So I just got a question. What's tonight's topic? Well, it's creating quilt blocks using IQ Designer. So much fun. So I know you've seen tons of this done out there, and mine's just going to be a little bit basic because I think, you know, it's quick and easy and really fun, and you can use your favorite embroidery designs. And we're going to use an embroidery design. We're going to use the fill stitches, and we're going to build out. And what I mean is basically we're going to build the block, and we're going to leave enough around the outside so you can piece them together. And we're going to have a lot of fun that way. So I've started on some, and they're so pretty. I'm very pleased with them. And the design collection I'll talk about in just a moment. You all know her. You all love her. It's from the Zandra Shaw. So yeah, and we'll talk about what you need and all that. If you haven't signed up for the In the Hoop zipper bag, well, I always have to make a disclaimer. It's half in the hoop, half sewing. Zipper bag, just go ahead and send me an email. I'll make sure that I'll put the email back up in the comments tonight. All it is really is foreverbblouise@gmail.com. And these are the zipper bags. So that class is $25. You can take it with me. We do it by Zoom, which is really nice because we all get to see each other and talk to each other and chat and have fun. But also you're invited to a private Facebook group where all the video will be placed in there, and all the directions and everything you need to make this again. But what you can see, and I'm sorry for the glare, is I made this little vinyl zip bag. But what I did with my fabric, my background fabric, this is plastic here, but the underneath fabric, I put an embroidery design, or you can just have kind of like a quilted look. You can kind of see the quilted look there, right there. And one of my favorites, I still haven't been able to give it to my niece, so I'm sure she knows it's for her now. But this cute little nurse's bag. And then, you know, if you want to put someone's name up there, whatever. Oh, I haven't done that yet. That's a good idea. I will, what Anna asked, what info do you need in the email? Just send me an email, Anna, and saying, hey, I want to take the zipper bag class, and then I'll give you all the information from there. Okay, let me make sure there's no questions. Oh, Carol. Carol, I get this asked a lot. Carol Bernard asks, she's curious, where did Forever BB Louise come from? I know it's kind of a weird name, right? Okay, so so Louise was my grandmother. She passed away 2 years ago. We're very, very close, and I love her dearly. And so the Louise came from her, but it also, my sister's middle name is Louise. So she's Amy Louise. And so that's where the Louise came from. The BB, the B-E-E, bees are adorable, but my mom's name is Beverly. And so I always wanted a little girl. I didn't have children, but I'd always wanted a little girl, and I was going to name her BB Louise. And so I had this name, so BB being for my mother and Louise being for my nanny and my sister. And so when she passed, I was starting my little business and everything. And I just kind of blurted it out to my mom and whoever was walking with us at the time. I remember we were walking and I was like, "Forever BB Louise." And they were like, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna be," and they're like, "Oh, that's great. Da 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 da." So that's yeah, it's a just great memories for me. So thanks for asking. Okay, so good questions. Can you have box corners on the back? So not on this bag. There's not enough fabric in it, basically. It's basically a flat bag. But what we could do instead of square corners, because we have all the designs or the shapes in our machines, is we could have rounded corners. Ooh, maybe I'll try one of those. That's a good idea. Is the bag in several sizes? You can make it as big as you want. Actually, you can make it as small as you want, as big as you want, because the technique that I'm going to show you, we do it at an 8x8, but who says you can't do it at a 4x4? Or, I mean, like little bitty, who says? We just got to do a little couple calculations. We can make it any size you want. That's a great question, Kathleen. A date. Oh, thank you. Thanks for reminding me, Judy. That is going to be February the 20th, and we'll start about 12 p.m. Eastern. I'm one of those teachers that I hate to give it end time because I might ramble on, or we might be working, might be having fun. So I'm saying generously 12 to 3, but it might run over. It may be shorter, it might run over. So I'm going to say that. Mickey, you're a Louise. Thank you, Alexis. Thank you, Carol. Oh, you're so sweet, guys. Roseanne, thank you. Okay, cool. Yeah, so yeah, if you want to, and I'll put a little another post up tonight for that. But let's see, I don't have a lot to tell you guys today, so that's, we're just going to get right to it. Okay, these quilt blocks. They're so dreamy to me. I've been working on them, and if you know or are part of Zandra Shaw's group, Sew My Souls, she has some beautiful designs. And she has the Hoop Fun Club, right? We all love the Hoop Fun Club. And if you haven't joined up, don't worry, I'm going to show you all about it here in a minute. But Xandra has these really fun designs. And in the Hoop Fun Club, each month you get a new set of designs and projects. It's not just that, it's projects, it's fun stuff. And this month, for February, she had these gorgeous birds. I'm getting emotional again because we were just talking about my grandmother and my grandfather. Just a quick backstory. Married for 60 plus years. They were so in love. I mean, he still patted her on the butt. They were just like super in love. And when she passed away, he passed away 4 months later. I mean, broken heart syndrome, right? And so one of their favorite things to do was to sit on their back porch and bird watch. And as soon as I saw what Xandra had for February, I knew I had to stitch out every single one of these because it reminded me of them. And to be honest with you, I do live in their home, so we try to keep as much, of them alive in this house. And so she has these beautiful applique quilt birds. And I was like, this is perfect. This is perfect. Yay. And so here's one of them. And that is the blue jay. But can you see the quilt pieces? They're applique quilt. So the technique's so cool. I'm not going to explain it to you because she explains it so well in the Hoop Fun Club. But you can see there's multiple pieces of fabric. But what's really cool is the applique quilt, which is his belly here. You can see the nice fold. It's gorgeous. And of course, her designs are gorgeous. So this is the blue jay. I've only gotten 4 done. So I'm going in order as how they're kind of done. So this is the blue bird. Oh, he's so cute. And I'm doing all batiks for my appliques because I haven't done batiks in a very long time. So I was like, well, you know what? Birds call for batiks because they're graceful and beautiful. I can't remember what this bird is called. So, but whenever I looked him up, these were kind of his colors. Of course, we always take artistic license, um, but it's it starts with a B. It's something beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, and then the last one. Where's my other one? I had one more. One, two, three. I just finished the canary, and guys, oh, here it is. The canary is so cute. I'm in love with this one. I think I did good with the fabric on this one. I'm like, and hopefully it shows up good for you. Look at my canary. It's so cute. So I'm using these for the center of my quilt blocks that I'm building. So now these are pretty big. These are the smaller of the two sizes. So this is the 6x8 applique quilt designs. And let me quickly show you. Now good question, Lynn. My quilts are coming out, or my quilt blocks are about 8.5 by 8.5, somewhere around in there. Let's see. I am going to jump the screen real quick so you can see, but I can't see. We'll just go here. Hoop Fun Club. I don't think she'll mind me showing this. But yeah, if you want to join, you just need to go to hoopfunclub.com, and here is her little site. All the that is this little bunny I have not done yet, but I know a lot of you have. Bina, thank you. Bengalese finch. Yes, that's the bird. Thank you. I couldn't think of the name. So look at this bunny. That is one of the February projects. She is so cute. Let me see. Where are my classes? I've got to find my classes. Let's see. Maybe I go here. Or maybe it just took me back to the same spot. But I want to show you all the birds. Okay. Maybe my library. I know how to do this. Okay, there we go. You have no sound. Hopefully, Lynn, you can hear me now. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. So you just come in here, and after you join, you're going to have access to January, and now we're into February. And so here are the birds. I just wanted to show you the birds real quick. Look how pretty those are. So there's the blue jay, and there are there 8 birds? I can't remember exactly how many there are. But look how cute they are. They are so sweet. I love them. So I decided I definitely wanted to make a quilt using Zandra's designs in homage to my grandparents because they love birds so much. So I can't wait. But you know me, I want to use my IQ designer for almost everything, right? So I'm like, well, let me see what I can do. And I'm like, well, let's just make some quick blocks. Now you can use any embroidery embroidery design you have. You cannot use an embroidery design. You can do whatever you want. Remember, this is you. You do what you want to do. But I love this technique. I think it's just so much fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over my camera to my machine. I'm going to start out on the Meridian. Now, if you have the Altera Meridian, I'm going to start with that one and show you how to go through the process. I am then going to jump onto the Solaris 2 because you have a feature in there that's really cool. And I want to talk about that when we're done. So I'll start there at the Meridian and we'll walk through how I made the block. super duper easy. And if and when we're done with that, then we can talk about other stuff. Okay. All right, give me just a second, and I'm going to switch over my camera. Oh yeah, I learned something new. Let me see if this is right. Let's turn off that blinding light and wake my baby up. Okay. Let's zoom in a little bit so we can get, and of course, just ask questions as we're going along. I'm gonna try to get the whole machine in here. The whole screen, I should say. There we go. That's pretty close. There we go. That's not too bad. Let me bring my phone over so I can read your questions. All right. Oh, I should have done this on camera. Let me switch back for just a moment because I want to talk about what we need. There we go. Let me switch back real quick because I want to talk about what you need. Okay, so I should have started with that. Well, you're going to need a hoop, right? And I like to use a no-show mesh. I do not like to use tearaway in any of my quilts because it's crunchy and you have to pick all that mess out. But if you use like a mesh cutaway stabilizer or the lightweight mesh cutaway stabilizer, what's going to happen is it'll remain in the quilt, but it's soft and it's pliable. I tell you this all the time when I'm doing in the hoop projects. I love to use this. If it says use tearaway, I use this. I fight. I'm a rebel. It's just, to me, it just adds so much softness. So we're not making like a quilt as you go where you're going to have the back on here. We're not doing that. But what you want to do is you want to have your hoop hooped with your no-show mesh stabilizer. You're also going to, depending on the size of the quilt block you're going to have, you're going to measure off of that, and you're going to have a piece of cotton batting. I am a purist. I'm an all cotton girl. Yes, it can be the one with the polyester in it. I mean, who cares? It's your, like we said, this is your baby. So I've got my cotton batting. I love the a couple of them. The Angel Loft embellished batting's amazing. The Dream batting, Dream Quilter's Dream batting's amazing. These are the ones I like because they're really well made and there's no like nasty scrimmy stuff in there. So, and you know what I mean. Also, what you need is your block fabric. Now, I wanted to show you this, and I can't remember where I found it, but you can buy 10-inch pre-cut white squares or any color squares, like Moda has it and all that. Now, what this bunch was, and I can't remember where I bought it. I'm going to do some research because I love this one. I don't like solid fabric. I like tone on tone fabric when I'm doing something. So I don't like a solid white. I like it to be white on white. And if you've never seen a tone on tone, what happens, and I don't know if you can see it here. Yeah, you can see there's a white design on the white fabric. And I personally just like that. And I found a pack that had all different ones. And I found it so long ago, I can't remember, but it's great if you're going to make like something like this, because you've got all your pre-cut squares. Even if your block is like 6x6, you still got your pre-cut squares right here. Perfect. So I've got those. And that's really all you need. And you need thread. If you're doing applique, you want to get some applique pieces that maybe have some fusible webbing on the back of them. So like these have fusible webbing. Now for what Zandra on hers, she suggests the Heat and Bond Light. So you can use that. So it's just really up to you, depending on what design you're going to do. Okay, now that I've said that, I want to switch it back over. Alt-N. Okay, let me turn that glaring light off. And there we are. Where do you get lightweight mesh big enough for the hoops? Sandy, that's a great question. You should be able to find it in at any embroidery store. So maybe I'm not sure if you have a local dealer who sells stabilizers, but you can get them all the way from 12 inches wide to 15 inches wide and even 20 inches wide by however many yards the roll may have. So it is out there. You might have to do a little research. I do know that Baby Lock has their own brand that makes a wide one. And then Floriani makes a wide one, Embellish makes a wide one. So there's many companies out there that makes them wider. What I use for my 9 blah blah blah. My 9.5 inch hoop is I use a 12 inch wide one. So yeah, that's a great question. Okay, just making sure there's no more questions. Okay, good, cool. Whoever just said they are late, girl, don't you worry about that. Thank you. Good thing I can rewatch this later. Have a project under the needle. Oh, girl, have fun. Okay. Let's see. So Kathleen has a good point. Here we go. She says, I usually cut a bunch of stabilizer ahead of time so I don't have to worry about cutting while I'm embroidering. Yeah, make it easy, right? Just make it easy on yourself. I totally agree. I am not that well thought out. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, so here we go. We're about to start. All right, so what I want to do is I'm not going to worry about hooping or anything right now. What I'm going to do is design my blocks. And we're going to think of today, and today only, we're going to think of our quilt block almost like an applique. We're going to have a placement line. We're going to have a tack down line. So we're going to have a bunch of lines going on. And then we're going to have our design lines. And we're going to, so it's going to be a little bit of a process, but boy, is it adorable when it's done. And again, just like anything, this is just the way I do it. There is no wrong or right way. You may see a different way out there that it's done, and you may like that better. So I say just play around and have fun. So we're going to start by choosing an embroidery design. To me, I've tried to figure out how to do this several different ways, and I like the way that I do it. It's worked the best for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my embroidery screen, and I'm going to select my embroidery design. Now, if I have a design on the USB stick, I can always go to USB and go find wherever it may be on my USB stick. So I'll use the birds for us this time. Since I am just finished the canary. Oh, that is really bright. That's better. Woo, goodness, sorry guys. The next one's going to be this Eurasian bullfinch. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to bring him in. Now notice when I bring him in, he's flying kind of a weird way. I mean, it's not aesthetically pretty. So I may want to flip him, and we can do that in our settings screen. So let's hit set. And what I am going to do is I am going to rotate him a little bit. I'll come into edit and rotate. And I think I want him facing that way. So the way that my finger's pointing, so I can just flip him that way, and there I'm happy. And I can see up here that he's 5.75 inches by 7.69. I know that I want my block to be when I'm done with it, about 8.5. So I know I've got a design that is perfect for this. So again, you can choose any design you want. I'm just going to use one of these. So I'm going to then say, okay. And then what I'm going to do is create an outline of him. And how you do that is we are going to come to this little flower motif right here, and I'm just going to tap. And I like to move the distance away from my design because if I have, let me grab one. You really can't see that well because I used white thread, but, and this is not going to be a great color for you guys to see. Yeah, you really can't. Let me see if I can lighten that up a little bit. So you can barely see my outline because I did use white thread for that. But if my outline is too close, it's going to sit right up on top of my decorative stitches, the edges. And so I like my birds or my decorative stitches to be, floating away from it a little bit. Again, that's a preference. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to change it to about, I go about to 0.028. And it's kind of my magic number. It's kind of the number I just like to use. So again, you'll find what you like to use too. So then what I'm going to do is select memory. And once I hit memory, what it's going to tell me is it's going to say, hey, Anna, I need you to remember a couple things here. When you go find this outline, you're going to go to IQ Designer and you're going to look for it in what I call the stamp, or they call it the stamp pattern list. I call it shapes key. I don't know, you kind of get your own names for things, right? And so I'm going to find that outline in that button inside of IQ Designer. Now, if you have My Design Center, it'll probably say something really similar. So I'm then just going to push OK. Now, since I turned him, what I'm going to do is save him into memory. And there is a reason why I'm going to do that, and you'll see why here in just a moment. So I'm just going to save him to my machine because I rotated him and he's in the perfect spot. But I'm not going to keep this design up on the screen. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the home button and tell it to get rid of it. But I've saved it into my machine so he's perfectly turned the way that I want him to be. And I can delete that later. Remember, you can always delete this stuff off. So now let's start building our quilt block. So I'm going to start with IQ Designer. And what I want to do is I want to come to my shapes key. Now, I am not going to pull out that outline shape. Remember it said you can find it here. First, we're going to make basically the placement and tack down line. So I am going to select my shapes key and I am going to select this box right here and then OK. At this point, I want to change it to the size, whatever size I need it to be. So I'm going to go to size and it's at 6.19. I want my finished block to be at 8.5. I just happen to like that size. So did my block just move? Did I move it? I must have. Let's put it back to the center. So I'm going to press and hold my proportional size key to make it about 8.5. Again, you can make it any size you wanted. Because my designs were so big, at 8 inches, that was still not enough room for me. So I thought 8.5 would be perfect. So I'm going to select OK. And then I need to assign this, square a stitching line. So when we are looking at our machines and we're looking at IQ Designer or My Design Center or whatever, what you're going to notice is you have a grouping of keys here. So you have right here this group of 4. If you're on the Destiny or the Dream machine, yours are going to have little circular buttons. Same thing. You're going to have a group of 4. And on the Solaris, you're going to have a group of 4, but you're also going to have a 5th one. It's the same thing. So this top grouping of 4 are your line properties for your stitch lines. And this bottom 4 right here, those are your fill properties. And we're going to work with those in a little bit. But I want to go up to my line properties and I'm going to touch this. I call it the little piece of paper. I'm going to touch my little piece of paper here. And I'm going to select a single running stitch. And I'm going to assign it a color. I like the green color. And I always change the color from black to a different color. So that way I know my action was completed, and you'll see why here in just a second. So I'm then going to select OK. And the magic button, the bucket, we always have to select because it'll fill it in all at once and it won't be annoying. So to get rid of annoyance, use your bucket. Now all I have to do is tap directly on this line, and guess what? It turns green because I chose the color green. And guess what? I have just digitized a line. So those of you who are new to your machine and you just followed along with me, you are now a digitizer. Holla. So what we've done is actually turn that into a running stitch, which is really cool. But what I want to do is I always say this, I never follow it because I forget all the time. And I get, when we're in classes, I always have the best people who are taking my classes because they always remind me, they say, Anna, you didn't do what you tell us to do. I always save to memory because I don't want to keep redesigning this shape because we're going to use it, another time. So I'm going to save it by using this key right here, which is the pocket key with the arrow going in. And I like to save to my machine. Again, you can save to a USB stick, but I know I can go and delete these later, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to save it to my machine. And I will answer a question that may come up here shortly. I honestly don't know how many designs it can hold. So I'm really not quite sure. Okay. So I have saved this inside of IQ Designer so I can bring it back up again. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and take this all the way to my embroidery side. So I'm going to select Next. Preview. If you're on the Meridian, Altair, and I believe the Destiny, you're going to have to select Preview first. So then we'll select Preview. And if you're on the Solaris, you just hit Set. But then we're going to hit Set. And then it's going to ask me, are you sure you want to do this? And I'm going to say, Okay, so there we are. I am now in the embroidery side of my machine. So I have my placement stitch because what's going to happen, remember I showed you my hoop with my, where did I put it? Who knows? My hoop that is already hooped with my no-show mesh stabilizer. This first line is going, this first box is going to stitch directly onto the no-show mesh stabilizer. But we need a tack down line because after that line stitches out, and I'm going to do this in front of you so you see what happens, is I'm going to lay my batting and just my batting down over this box. And then there's going to be a tack down stitch. So I need to make a second box, right? Well, let me show you the easiest way to do it. Now we could go back to IQ Designer, grab the box again and bring it back over, but we are so fortunate that if we go to edit right here, we have a duplicate key. This key right here, the two boxes, it's a square box with the square box that looks dotted. So I'm going to tap that, and I don't know if you noticed, let me show you. Watch my screen once I tap that. Do you see it made another box? It's sitting just a little bit lower than the other box, same size and everything. Well, that box right there can be my tack down line. And just for my own visual purpose, what I like to do is come into the colors. You don't have to do this, it will stop, but come in here and change the color of that second line. And now what I'm going to do is go to Move. I'm going to select the dot, and that's going to move it directly on top of the other green line. That is amazing. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to push OK. Well, now what I'm going to do is create another box. So I'm going to have 3 boxes because first I have my placement stitch for my batting. I lay my batting down. And then when I'm done, I stitch that the tack down line for the batting. But what I'm going to do is trim the outside edges of the batting. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. And then I'm going to lay my 10-inch square of fabric on top of that, and I need something to tack that down. So I'm going to select that duplicate key one more time. It brings another box up. I'm going to come in here. And again, this is just preference. You do not have to do this. I'm going to select another color and then OK. And I'm going to move that one directly back on top of the other two. There we go. So now I have my placement line for my batting, my tack down line for my batting, and then my tack down line for my 10-inch piece of fabric. Thank you, Christina. I always forget that. PTA, position, tack, adorn. I love that. And I think, I don't know if it was you last week or a couple weeks ago who put that up, but that had been the first time I'd ever heard that. So yes, thank you. And now what we want to do is now we're going to go build the pretty stuff. We're going to build the decorative stitches that go on the outside of our embroidery design. So let's lighten this up so you can see my decorative stitches. And that one may be, yeah, up against this light. I'll have to show y'all that in just a little bit out of this terrible, terrible lighting with the camera. It works good for the machine, but not for showing you stuff. Okay, so what I want to do at this point is I want to use the Add button. And when I select Add, I am going to select IQ Designer. Okay, so I'm going to select IQ Designer. And remember when we saved that box? Okay. Thanks, Jason. I hear you. Okay, my husband let me know that him and our dog are back from their walk. So that's hysterical. Okay, everybody say, hey, Jason. So what we're going to do is bring up that square again. And so to bring up that square that we saved in here in IQ Designer earlier is going to be in the pocket with the arrow pointing outwards. So let's tap that and select the machine. And you can see right there, it's always going to be this first one up there. It's always going to be this very first box right up here. Oh, y'all are so cute. And I'm going to tap on that and then hit set. Y'all are so funny. I love it. And hit set. He's going to get a kick out of that, guys. He loves seeing all your comments. And you know what he really loves? He loves seeing what y'all post and y'all make in the group. So he always says, did you see that, they're posting, this and this? And I'm like, yeah, I see. So, so here we go. I brought back up that box because we're going to use this as a guide box, but we're not going to stitch this line out. And this will make sense in just a little bit why. So what I'm going to do, the very first thing I'm going to do is change the stitch line because it is a running stitch line right now. I want it to be a no-sew stitch line. And I am going to come right here to my line properties. Y'all are so funny. You're cracking me up. I can't even do my work. Okay, I'm going to come back here to my line properties. And I'm going to go to my little piece of paper and I am going to select this little guy right here. And it has a zigzag with a red line through it. And I'm going to tap that and say, okay. I'm going to select my very important bucket and I'm going to tap the line. So what's going to happen is this is going to give me a boundary, but it's not going to stitch out. Love this feature. It is so cool. You can really use this feature to do a lot of cool things. Okay, so now what we're going to do first, my dog's name is Lacey Blue, very Southern little dog name, but she ain't a little dog. She's chunky. Jason calls her fat butt. She's a chunky butt. So now what I want to do is go ahead and get my bird shape. You remember we made that outline of the bird? So I'm going to go here and it told me to go to my shapes key. And then I'm going to look for that same little flower that I used in the, to make the outline over in the embroidery side. And look, there's my bird. What? So I'm going to grab her. You're so funny. And I'm going to select OK. And can you see my bird outline now? Because I created that outline inside of the embroidery side of the machine. It is, you can have so much fun with this. So now what I want to do is I'm just going to use that. Yeah, Julie, it's a game changer, girl. It's a game changer. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the quilting that goes on the outside of the bird. So all I have to do now, we're going to go into that second grouping of 4 icons right here. And I'm going to select this little piece of paper. And now I can come in here to basically your fill attributes. So if I were to select this first one right here, I can select any color, go in there and tap into my design, and it would make it a complete fill stitch, right? So it'd be like complete fill stitch. The second one right here will be a stipple stitch. And yes, you can change the size and everything of these, which is really, really neat. The next one's going to be your fun stitches. Here we go. It's going to pop up and I hit select and they have all these amazing fun stitches to play with. So I'm keeping on a floral theme with mine. So I think I'll select this one right here. I haven't done this one yet. So I'm going to select that one right there. That's number 12. It's really gorgeous. And I'm going to select OK. And I say this all the time, so I know y'all get sick of my same little sayings, but I do not like red, so I'm going to select pink. And I'm going to select OK. And now can you barely see my outlines? I don't even know if you can see them very well on my screen. Maybe if I darken it up a little bit, you can vaguely see the outlines on my screen. Now that happens. On your screen at home, you're going to be able to see them a lot better than you see on my screen. But what I need to do is turn on my bucket. And then I'm going to tap outside of the bird, but inside the box. Okay, watch. Boom. I just made a quilt design. I am so talented. No, I'm not. It's my machine. My machine makes me look good. And so now I can see this is my design, and I'm going to bring this design over to the next screen now. I'm going to select next. But here's the thing. If you are on a Meridian, an Altair, or a Destiny, okay, or the like machines on the Brother, you can't see what size these are going to be without hitting preview. Now, that's very important. So if I hit preview, I like to hit preview first and OK to see what it's going to look like. That really gives me like the 3D look of it, right? If I was not happy with that, do not hit set. What you want to do is hit return. And that's very important because then I can go here to my sizing and I can make it a little bigger. For all my blocks, I'm moving it up to 150 for all the different stitching. So it's all kind of uniform. And I'm going to hit set. I am going to leave this outline feature on. Now, if you're in a Solaris, yours will be automatically turned off, and I suggest you turn it on. But I'm going to go over that over there for all my Solaris people. So I'm going to make sure that's on. And now I'm going to preview it. So let's see what it looks like now. Oh, I love it. The flowers are spaced out. The leaves look amazing. I'm super happy with that. Now, if you're super happy with that, all you have to do is hit set. And can you save that? Absolutely, you can. At this point, you can save it and it'll be saved in the IQ and in the memory of your embroidery. So let's hit set. And now this is where it's telling me, hey, are you sure it's okay? Because you can't go back. And I'm going to say, yep, I'm okay. And there we go. It's sitting in my 3 boxes. Ta-da! Now all I have to do is recall up my embroidery design. I'm going to go to add, and remember I saved mine into my machine memory because I had changed him, I turned him around. So I'm going to select that and I'm going to find him right up here. Ah, there he is, and watch, he'll sit beautifully in there. Oh my goodness, how cute is he? So cute. Now all I have to do, I don't have to do anything else. I'm happy. So I'm going to go to embroidery and I'm going to do the first couple steps on the machine with you. I don't want you to have to sit here for all this to stitch out, but at least the placement and the tack down and how I trim the batting and everything. So what I'm going to do is take you and kind of get you looking more at the machine here, maybe get us some better lighting. Okay, looks like that is as good as it's gonna get tonight. Okay, so maybe if I turn this lighting on back here. Ooh, that's a little bit better. All right, so now I'm going to grab my hoop, and I am using my 9.5 by 9.5 inch hoop. Those of you who have a machine, well, I can't remember. I think the Meridian and Altair, they make, I can't remember if they come with the 9.5 by 9.5 inch hoop, or the Solaris comes with it. If it doesn't, get it. It is my favorite hoop, especially for in the hoop projects. Okay, so I'm going to slide my hoop on. Remember, I just have my no-show mesh in there. I'm just going to slide it on and I'm going to let it do the very first stitch. And that's going to be my placement line for my batting. Let me grab. Yeah, Jacqueline, it's the best. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, Christy. I can't remember if the Meridian. I don't think the Meridian came with it. So, but yeah, it's really great. And those of you with the Meridian Altair, you want the special one with the markings. I do have that one, but I'm using my Solaris one right now because you can use them interchangeably, right? Oops, I lost a little bit of thread. Well, let's check that out. I am going to do something I tell you guys never to do, but my thread popped. I might need a new needle in there, and I have to pull it out the wrong way. But let's just let's get it back in there. I may have to change the needle by the time we're done at this, but that never miss needle threader is my favorite. And since this is just the placement stitch, I'm not going to worry about moving back and forth. I don't care. Now, I do get this question all the time. Why does it do 2 stitches around? I don't know why, but I just say let it do it. It's really not that big of a deal. It's not hurting anything. Yeah, it's using a little bit more thread, but you cannot change that, unfortunately. Or I do not know how to change that, and I've never been able to figure out or get an answer. So it's always going to do that double stitch around. But that's good if you're doing something like this, especially appliques, right? We want a double stitch because it holds everything down in place. All right, perfect. Yeah, Mindy, me too. I did the 4x4 as well. That one's a great one to have. Yes, Teresa, it is so much easier to trim, isn't it? So I'm going to lay my batting down just directly on top of that, and I'm going to let that stitch down. Oh, Melinda, you're so sweet. Hey, girl. Hey, girl, hey. Melinda, please put your group up for me. And Cookie, I saw Cookie Gainer on here. Cookie, if you're still on here, can you place up your Instagram because you have the best pictures? Cookie Gainer, and I don't know if Hope's on here. Hope, if y'all most of y'all know this. Hope Yoder's my best friend, and Hope, will you put your group up if you're on here? But Cookie Gaynor is an amazing embellish educator, and she works with Embellish, made by R&K and inspired by Hope Yoder. But Cookie is like amazing with embroidery and all kind of beautiful designs and stuff. So she's still on here. I'll get her to put her Instagram up on there for me. Thanks, Melinda. And Melinda has a fabulous, she's one of our Baby Lock educators. Thanks, Cookie. She's one of the Baby Lock, new Baby Lock educators, so go join her group. It's so blessed. She has great YouTube videos. And if anybody else, I don't know if Richard or anybody else is in the group watching tonight, post your groups too, because we all learn from each other, right, everybody? Julie, you're kidding. That is so adorable. If you just only want row stitches, just stop. Oh, good one. Okay, Muriel has a great suggestion for that, right? She said, if you just want one row of stitching, just stop at the end of the first run and advance to the next item. Exactly. That's all you have to do. Now, at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my applique scissors, and what I'm going to do is move my camera a little so you can see what I'm going to do. Now, you could go ahead and place your piece of fabric on here and have it tacked down now, but I want to remove this bulk. This is going to be bulk when I go to stitch around or when I go to sew my blocks together. So what I'm going to do is remove this bulk now. And I'm just going outside the line. I'm using my awesome shears here just to go in there, just a pair of duck bills. And this isn't going to be very pretty because I'm kind of at weird angles right now. And just do it kind of quick. And then when I get to the top part, I'll just keep trimming. And this is going to reduce bulk when you go to piece your blocks together. And I'll, when we jump back on the other screen, I'll pull my blocks out. What just happened? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, I think I made it. Okay, well, I can get back to where I need to be. So what I did is I pushed a button on my screen and everything moved back to where it wasn't supposed to be, but who cares? I can fix that. I'm gonna go back to embroidery, and I need to make sure I am jumped through here. Let me advance a couple stitches. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is grab my fabric, which I thought I had, but I dropped it somewhere along the way. So we'll put this one on. I am going to grab whatever embroidery tape you might like to use. There's some fabulous ones out there. And I'm going to lay it directly on top. And I do like to use, you know, a little piece here and there to hold it down. So see, when I lift this up, this is not going to have any of the batting under it. So I use the same method if I want to make a small pillow? Karen, actually, no, I go ahead and just do it the other way. I just leave it, but you could. I mean, that's not a bad idea, but normally I do leave it, but I just do this part for quilt blocks. So it's really up to you. Try it and see, you know, I'll try it and see next time how it works for me too. Good idea. I'm going to take my two little pieces and just hold it down. Ooh, I'm going to have to, I don't think I watched her quilt binding class. Ooh, Melinda. Now, since I am going to use this a little bit later, guys, I'm going to change my thread to white because I want all my blocks to be consistent. So give me a split second. I'm going to grab my white thread. And I'll just show you how it's tacked down. Don't lose that. All right, quick draw McGraw there. Here we go. So now all that's going to happen is it's going to tack this down. I didn't make one bigger than the other or anything like that. I just used the same sizes. I think it'll work fine. So honestly, I, just kind of did what I wanted on this. Yeah, Julie, absolutely. You totally could. Do I add a backing to all? Yeah, we'll talk about that, Judy, in just a minute. So Julie asked, can I make this stitch a little bit bigger? Absolutely. What I would want to do is go back into IQ Designer and re-pull up the saved one and make it just a few inklings bigger. And just so it's not sewing right into the batting. Yeah, you could totally do that. Absolutely. And do I add backing after? So yeah, Judy, we'll get into that. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. Now mine's obviously not finished, but I will keep you updated on the finished one that I'm doing. I haven't decided if I want to add sashing or not yet, so I just really haven't decided. So pretty. Now, what would happen if I got all of these, if I brought them into each of these parts into different orders? Well, the thing about that is with the Altair Meridian, you can't switch around the orders and the embroidery screen. You'd almost kind of have to start over, and we've all done it. So I look at that as a learning experience because, I'm learning how to do it right, so yeah. So now I've got my quilt block that is basted down. And now all I have to do is finish my next two steps, which are basically the next would be the fill stitching, because I want to do that first. It keeps all that puckering down. So I'd rather do the fill stitching next. That's why I brought it in at the time that I did. And then it would go on, the very last thing would be this whole bird right here. The rest of the bird, and that's a lot of parts and pieces to show you. But basically, that's all you have to do. It's really, really easy. So next, let's do this. Let me flip you guys all back around to me. Did I do it right? Ah, I did it right. Okay. Oh, gotta figure out which way it goes. Okay, there we go. All right. So let's take a look at my blocks. I haven't cut them yet because I will kind of wait to do that one. But if I were to cut them, what would I do? What would I do? Well, you could do a couple things. If you were going to add a sashing, now there is no back fabric on this. This is just regular embroidery. We're looking this is a quilt block, but it's now an embroidery, right? Okay, so I do have that outer line there that you could do one of a couple things. You could, and I probably would, you could actually leave it like this and stitch directly on the lines. So when you put two of the blocks together, and of course you would get rid of all this stuff here, you can align the stitch lines and then kind of stitch on those stitch lines together and then flip them open. Or you can cut a 1/4 inch away from each stitch line and then stitch them together that way. If I were going to do a sashing, what I would want to do is trim it a 1/4 inch away from this outside stitch line and then add my sashings 1/4 inch at a time, like you do for anything, any other sashing. You would just treat this like regular fabric. That's what you're going to do. You're not going to, don't let this freak you out. You're going to treat this just like if you had an 8-inch square of just plain solid fabric and you're adding your sashing or your borders or whatever. Stitch it together however you like. Or you can just stitch them together. You don't have to have sashing if you don't want to. I think I'm going to. I think it'll just add a nice brightness to it, find a really beautiful batik to go in there. And you can, when that's done, when your top is done, again, just treat it like a regular quilt. You're going to layer batting. Yeah, even though we have batting in here, it's okay. It's not going to really hurt it that much. You're going to layer batting and a backing. And for this purpose, what I would do is stitch in the ditch. Because if I try to go back with an all over quilting, I've already got all this quilting here. Can you see my quilting there? I don't need it on my blocks. I would just do a stitch in the ditch. Now, if your borders are wide, if you're using outside borders on the Solaris, what can we do? We can use our border feature, but you could also make borders on, you can, embroider borders out on your Meridian and Altair too. So you could really, really have fun with it. And I'm kind of excited to think about what I'm going to do. I am not a pre-planner. What I get what what happens with me when I see a design, let's say these birds, I'm like, okay, I want to make quilt blocks out of them. I go make the quilt blocks. And then from there, I figure out what I'm going to do. I don't even buy backing and binding for quilts because I'm so indecisive when I'm like, what if I don't like it that day? So, yeah. So, hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So again, Julie, I hope that helped you. So we're going to sew everything together like a normal quilt where you're sashing everything, then layer your batting and then layer your backing. And then like I said, I would probably stitch it in the ditch as much as possible. And then you could go in there on your borders, if you have borders, do some beautiful quilting. Yeah, Melinda girl, I can't. I can't pre-plan a quilt. It just does not work for me. So can we make end-to-end quilting in IQ? Yes, Muriel, and I've done a couple of videos or maybe one or two videos on that. And when you go to topics, you should be able to look up edge-to-edge quilting and it'll show you how to do that. Now, if you're part of Melinda, I'm sorry, Melinda, of Zandra's Hoop Fun Club, she actually does teach you that too in her Hoop Fun Club. She has great videos from January and February on how to do that. But yeah, with IQ Designer and all that, I do have some videos. So you'll just have to go to topics, look under Sunday Night Live, and there should be some in there for you. Oh, Mickey. Oh, you know what, Mickey, I think I saw those. Mickey did I think, Mickey, you're the one that posted those, right? Let's take a look at Mickey's. Let me see if I can find them. She did January's in the hoop ones, and let me show you those. I'm sorry, January's Hoop Fun Club designs, and these are beautiful. Let me see if I can find them. Goodness. Pop-ups are annoying. Let's see, where are they? There they are. So these are raw edge applique. Beautiful flowers that Zandra has, and that's your January. Ugh, gorgeous. So Roseanne says, indecisive may or may not be my biggest problem. Have that on a plaque in my Okay, Mickey, I saw someone else posted them. Roseanne, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. Oh, Nancy, thank you. Thank you. First time, Nancy. Yay. Thank you for coming. Okay, so I am going to jump out of that. I'm going to move the camera over to the Solaris because I want to show you at the end of, let me get me back on here because that just looks silly. Y'all just staring at that. There I am. Okay, at the end of when I was over at the Meridian, I said, if we get something out of order when we're designing it, we have to kind of start over. Well, if you have the Solaris to upgrade, there is a button for that. I love buttons. So I want to show you that real quick. So if you're doing this or anything else that you're designing, you can totally use this cool button. So let me show it to you. And I'm just gonna flip cameras around over here. Turn off some, I gotta turn off lights because it gets pretty glary. And now I'm tangled up. My life as a virtual educator. Never thought it would come to this. But the cool thing is I've met so many new people, so many cool sewers out there because of virtual. Have y'all made new friends from virtual? It's so cool. I love it. Okay, so. All right. So, okay, we're at the Solaris. Mindy, yay, go. Who off to watch? Bucks took my Packers, so they better win. Yeah, go Bucks or whoever else is playing. I really have no idea. Bye, Melinda. Yeah, I have no idea who's playing, so except for the Bucks. All right, here we go. I'm just going to go home and we're just going to quickly build maybe, you know, just a block, a quilt block. And so let's say that I was building something and I got out of step. So remember when we were building that quilt block before, we had those 3 steps, right? We had the placement, we had the tack down, we had the tack down again, but we also had the fill stitch in there. So what if I had done this? I had built my, I'm just gonna pick some colors here and drop. I built my block, which you can't see, so let's get a different color. Okay, I've got my block, and that would be my tack down. My placement. And I'm going to go here and I go, okay, well, I need to make another one for my tack down, correct? Is virtual a Facebook page? No, virtual is what I'm doing right now, Christina. You're in virtual, baby. Yeah, here with me. And I'm going to move that one on top. And now I want to add fill in there. So then I can go to add. I can go back to my IQ. And I totally forgot to save that one, but I left it just the same size. So let's go here and I'm going to tap no sew. And so I just want to show you what can happen here. Oh my goodness, Anna. Let's just do a stipple. Okay. Now, if I go ahead and hit set here, and if we're looking at our 3 parts here of our design, let's say for some strange reason, maybe I'm building a pillow and I really need this box right here to come last. If I was in the Altera Meridian, unfortunately, I would have to go back to the beginning and start over and then design this line here, or this box here, then go design the stipple, and then come back and bring this 3rd box in, or this 2nd box to be last. But with the Solaris upgrade, all I have now, or all I have to do now to move that 2nd box down to the last step is I now have this icon right here, which is like a little switcheroo. I just tap him. I'm going to select the box that I want to move, and I tell it to move down. So now I've changed the sewing order of the design. Now, can I do this in pre-bought designs and stuff like that? Not really. So like I can't dissect an embroidery design, but I can do stuff that has order. So if I wanted to do like a pillow or something like that, then I can move these blocks wherever I want. So that's a really cool feature that I wanted to make sure that you guys who have upgrades know about that you can use that little switcheroo button and move things all around. So even if I brought in an embroidery design to set on top of this, let's see, let's just find us um, this little guy right here. He's tiny, but you can see him. What if I needed him to stitch? So let's look at our stitch out order right now, okay? So we've got our placement line. Let's say that's going to tack down our fabric, and then we want to do our stipple knit next, right? Well, I wouldn't want this right here to be before the stipple because the stipple would cover up this embroidery design, correct? So, but I have my stipple and then I have my last tack down line. Well, if I was making a pillow and needed to put a piece of fabric over that to flip the pillow inside out, then I wouldn't be able to stitch this. So I need to move this up above the last tack down line. So I'm going to go to edit and I'm going to go to my little switcheroo. I always forget the name of it. That's okay. I'm going to make sure that one's selected and move it up. So now it's in the correct order. So if that is, I think that's a great feature. I've actually used it. I was like, at first you're like, oh no, I always do it right. I always get it right. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I've messed up more than I can ever imagine. And I've been using that little button like all the time. It is great. It's a big, big help. So that's a great new feature in the machine. And, it just play with it. You're going to have a lot of fun. So let's do this and okay. All right. Hey, I'm back. Okay, hello. All right, so I'm just going to check really quickly for some questions and let's see. I think I'm kind of caught up. See some of the names in various groups and feel like we're good. Yeah, Betty, that's so true. You do. You see, we're all mixed throughout the little Facebook communities, but all those groups are amazing, aren't they? They're so helpful because we're all learning. Every one of us is learning at any given time, right? I learned so much from you guys. All right, Muriel says, okay, I have the Altair and sometimes have made the mistake about order. You can advance. Yes, you can do that. You can advance and move through the order and come back to do it. But yeah, if you're in the Altair Meridian and you get out of order, you can always use your plus minus key to advance or go back. I mean, preferably you want it not to do that, but I mean, hey, we're gonna get through it any way we can, right? We're survivors when it comes to sewing. Let me see something here. I thought I saw one up here. Couldn't get my squares to go to the center using the little button. Is it different on the Solaris? No, Diane, it's the same. If it's already in the center, it's not gonna move, or if you clicked off. So let me show you that. Diane, if you're still on here, let me show you that real quick. There we go. Okay, oh, goodness, I gotta turn that light off. I'm gonna just turn it that way. There we go. Okay. So what can happen is, let's say, I'm just going to back up so I have two boxes. Okay. Let's say we have two boxes on our screen. If you accidentally touch the screen, or if maybe you touch the other box or something like that, you can unselect one of the designs. You have to make sure that the red box is around the design you want to move. So go ahead and tap on that box, and then you should be able to move and then push the center button and it goes on top of each other. So hopefully that helps. Just gonna check here. Thank you, Janice. I'm glad you watched the whole video too. Okay. Yeah, that's what I think. So thank you, Cookie, Miss Cookie. So yeah, yeah. So don't, if I say the word SO one more time, okay. Don't forget about the virtual, or now I'm just making up stuff. Now I'm just making up words. Okay. Don't forget about my class. It is a Zoom class. However, you will also be invited to a private Facebook group, which I've done with all the other classes, that you can still join and still watch and still take, to make these little zipper vinyl bags. They're really cute. We're going to use embroidery, and like I said, half sewing, half embroidery. It's not all made in the hoop, but it's going to give you some great sewing skills too, because we need that too, right? So that will be, I'll repost that up here in just a little bit for you guys. And if there's no more questions, let me just double check here. Um, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I know some of you are ready to go watch that game. I just will probably watch the halftime show. I don't even know who's playing, but I like that. I hope you guys have a fabulous week. I will see you next week. If you need anything, send me a little message in the message box, or foreverbblouise@gmail.com. You know, I'm here for you. Y'all have a great week. Thank you for your support, and thank you so much for coming. And remember always to shop local and shop small. And I'll see you guys next week. Have a good one, guys. Happy Super Bowl day. Go team.